Hello, wow, good morning. No, it's not morning, is it? This is the problem with doing 3 days in a row. You actually, after a while, have no idea what time of the day it is, what time of the night it is. All I know is, I think my name's Richard. I do know that this is John, though. Hi, John.
Hello.
Hello, John.
I know the feeling. I came off air on the other channel at quarter to 10 last night.
Yeah.
And then was on here at 7 o'clock this morning. So I know exactly what you mean. In my brain, it's 11 o'clock at night on Wednesday the 13th of November.
Let me just check through the windows to see if it's day or night. I think it's day. Who knows?
Who knows?
Who can't tell. How are you, John? It's been a while.
I'm good. It has been a while since we've been together.
2 or 3 weeks, I think, at least. Maybe longer, actually.
But I'm really pleased we've got this show together.
Yes.
Because it's really going to give me a chance to... I know we've talked before and you've done shows with me with dyes and things, and I can see you're getting it, you're understanding, but you don't quite know what
John,
those
because
do.
you kind of explain it to me as you should do, like I'm like a gibbering idiot, basically. And you kind of like say, this is what it is. We go back to basics. And you've done this show this morning, and over half the stock has gone of this. And this is your baby in a way, because this is something that you haven't been told, you know, talk about this because you have to. This is actually your machine, isn't it?
This is the machine that I bought and I chose 3 years ago.
Right, irrespective of doing this today.
Irrespective of doing this today, and if you watch back any of the shows I've done, any of my retail shows anywhere, when I'm using an A4 machine, this is the one I've used for the last 3 years.
Okay.
I'm not connected by Couture Creations.
Yep.
It's not a Crafts2 brand. It's nothing to do with John next door.
So this is
my
perfect. So
physical
when
choice.
you say it's good, or if you say it's good or bad, whatever you're going to say about it, it's the truth from the horse's mouth.
This machine here, people I think at home are used to this. When you see a demonstrator, you know, using a die, you know that they haven't bought it. They've been given it, or the machine. My money paid for this.
Right.
I bought this.
Yeah.
I actually bought 5 of them.
Get you.
So I say in every show, but I've got one for TV.
Yeah.
One at home, in my craft cave, and I've got 3 for workshops.
Wow.
I've got 2 for workshops.
One for the bathroom.
One of them I gave to a friend. Yeah, there should be 1 for the kitchen, 1 for the office, you know. No, but and to me, to be able to put my money to something and be able to be asked by the craft store to do this machine, a show with this machine, but to be asked because I've got the experience with it and I know it, not because I've got any vested interest in it or it's anything to do with me.
Do you teach workshops with this as well?
Everyone who does my workshops, obviously not been doing a lot in the last 2 years, uses one of these, because my belief is when you come to a workshop with me, you should be using the equipment I use, because I've always think you shouldn't have anything inferior. You should be experiencing, and you should be able to achieve what I can achieve. Yeah. So you have the same equipment, so I make sure that these are what I've got for everywhere.
Yeah, so I'm really excited actually. I'm going to get a free workshop here, which is really good. Unless you're going to charge me right at the end.
Nope.
So let's get into it. Now let's just let me tell you what it is and how much it is, and then John is going to break it down and he's going to tell you and he's going to tell me what it does. Okay, so this is the Go Power and Emboss die cutting machine. What are you getting? The machine. You're getting all of these plates which come with it as well. More of that later. We'll get into all of this later, but essentially you're getting 4 plates there, maybe even 5 plates. You're getting lots of plates. We'll get back to that. Lots and lots of plates. There's your machine, and then on top of that, this is a set. So that's what you would get with the machine, but on top of that, we're going to throw in 2 embossing folders here. We've got 2 different designs and 30 dies. 30 dies. You've got a whole thing to use with your machine. So you're not just going to get the machine, look at it and go, what am I doing with this? You're going to get the machine and you're going to have lots of options to use it as well. Now, we've looked online and we can't find this machine anywhere else. So this is the place to come if you want the machine. The price, $46.66 on 3 flexi payments there. You're saving £10. It's our monthly mega deal. But you'll have to be quick because over half the stock has gone. The item number you want is 880282. So make a little note of that. I'm not rushing you. Don't have to pop it in your basket just yet. Just take your time, have a look at this. John is going to show you now, and me, how it works. So what does it do, John?
Right, so basically... you're going to get in the kit all of these bits. Okay. Yeah, and these are the bits that we use as the basic crafting tools. So if you were to get one of these, all you would need is some card and some glue.
That's it?
That's it.
Right.
Yeah, and possibly a little bit of electricity at your home to plug it into.
Okay, I think most people can do that. That's good.
Most people can squeeze those, you know, and get something like that. And it's really simple.
Electricity is a little bit more difficult these days.
It's not, it's not difficult, it's just very expensive.
Yes, but for the moment, I think we're okay.
It doesn't use a great deal, I've got to be fair. It's very quick to run through. This is a die cutting machine, and a die cutting machine, and to explain it, and I always think this is valuable for people as well at home, even if you've been doing it for years, is to understand. So I'll take one of the dies from the set. Okay. Now, this is a die, and we've basically, we call it die cutting.
Yep.
Yeah. If you look at that die, it's basically there, you've got all the metal, and can you see you've got like fine lines on it? Yeah, they're raised lines. So we call it die cutting, so you imagine they cut. They don't. So I'm going to bring this up now, look. Don't do this at home.
No. Okay, so that's not sharp enough to cut you. Yeah.
My face would be cut and bleeding.
Yes.
It isn't sharp.
Right.
The way die cutting works, it's a bit of a misnomer, because it's all about how your machine is and how it's built.
Right.
But if I stripped all of this out, this is a mangle.
Okay. Right.
So if you remember the old-fashioned mangle,
you turn the
handle,
round,
and two rollers go in opposite directions and pull the washing through.
Yeah. Can you put your washing through that? I'm guessing not.
I would suggest not with the electricity, to be perfectly honest.
Okay,
but,
noted.
you know,
noted.
Good one.
Yep.
But that's all it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, different die cutting machines, what effectively happens is, I'm going to grab a little. Do you know, I had all this out ready, and then I got chatting away to Lottie, the producer, and forgot everything.
So, do you know what? I blamed Lottie all day yesterday for everything. You're doing it today. That's good. That takes the heat off me.
I've known Lottie too many years. I'll get away with it.
I didn't last night.
I even went to her wedding, so you know I know Lottie well enough. Yeah. But basically, what happens is I'm going to put down a piece of card, and the combination for this machine is A plate, B plate, card, die, and C plate on top.
Right, so is the C plate the weight or something? Is that so
what you've got effectively is your B plate is 5mm thick perspex. Your C plate is 3mm thick.
Right.
Okay. So, got this wrong.
Okay.
A plate, C plate.
Yes.
And the reason I did that is because the instructions will tell you the way I've just shown you. And that is wrong.
Right.
And it's in the instructions, and this is because this show is about my opinion, not what Couture Creations have told me to do.
Right, so ignore the instructions in your opinion.
They've actually told me nothing. And the reason is, this plate here is 3 years old.
Right.
This has been used on every TV show. This has been used in every live demo that I've done across the country and all my workshops for 3 years. And look at the size of it. It is absolutely flat. We're used to machines with plates that go like bananas.
Right.
But if you have this on the top, it will warp. If you put it under the B plate, it won't.
Okay.
But I'm going to explain why.
Right, okay.
So what actually happens is, we put this through. You would put your die on your card, you put it in, you press run.
Right, so A plate on the bottom, then your card and your die, and the B plate on top.
A plate, C plate, card, die, B plate.
Right.
Yeah.
Except your C plate's here.
No, I've got two.
Oh, I see.
That's my older one.
Okay, that was
so.
Right, I'm with you.
I shouldn't have done that, really.
No, it's all right. It's fine. It's good.
Basically,
it's good. I'm following you. I'm following you.
What happens is the pressure of those two rollers pushes the card against those raised lines and cuts it.
Right.
So I'll show you there. We've got that cut, and it's beautifully finished. And can you see? Hopefully, you've got like a beveled edge. The edge has been turned.
Yes.
So I was watching, say, Lottie yesterday with a scan and cut. She was cutting out with a blade, and that gives you a cut clean edge.
But you can't get
die
the beveled.
cutting gives you this beveled edge.
Right.
And what's effectively happened is, those are the fibres of your paper there. The pressure in the machine has pushed those ridges against those fibres and made them pull apart. So it's not cut them.
So it has not a sharp edge as such,
nope.
But it's an impression, and the weight of the plates is going to push it, and it's going to push the fibres apart and give you that beveled look.
It is, and that's the pressure in the machine. And there's two most important things when you're judging a machine. And there's loads of reasons why I chose this one.
Right.
But the main one is, inside here is a full steel construction.
Okay.
So all of the mangle in here, it's not got wooden rollers or plastic gears. Everything is a metal construction,
right?
Which means it's going to last a lot longer.
Got you.
And it's going to strengthen.
Okay.
I had an old manual machine years ago, which a lot of people will know. And I've seen people who I've read it online where they're going, oh, I think my machine's going because it's leaving oil marks on my plate. And it's not. Those are shavings of plastic that are being squished with the pressure of the machine.
Right.
to almost turn into oil to give dark marks.
Okay.
You don't get any of that with this because it's all metal construction.
Okay.
And the idea is each machine has a different level of pressure. This to me had the perfect level of pressure to give me not only that beautiful cut, but give me that beautiful bevel edge without any hassle, without having to get any mats, without having to do anything else. It allows me to get that beautiful, you can see there, beveled finish without actually doing anything.
We have them popping into people's baskets as we speak. I'm understanding it's nearly 60% of the stock has now gone on this 880282, and we can't find this anywhere else on the internet right now. This is the place to get it for 3 payments of $46.66. No postage and packing if you are a Freedom member. You're getting the plates with it, of course, as well. That comes as standard. All the plates which we're slowly looking at. And on top of that, you're getting the 2 embossing folders, which we'll look at in a while, and the 30 dies as well. I've got a quick question. It could be a silly one, but I'm going to throw it anyway at you, John. I've seen people using hand machines where they're turning the handle. Is that doing the same thing and giving you the beveled edge? And if it is, then why would we need to have it electrical? What's the pros and cons of having electrical machines?
The first thing is, with the manual machine, I use 2 machines. I use this and my Kaleido. Okay. When I want something quick and something smaller, I use my Kaleido. I use the manual. Right. When I want something larger, or I'm using a bigger area, or I've got a bigger die, I want to go into this one. And what you've got here is your plates are A4 size. Right. So if I grab a sheet...
So your hand machines, if you like, generally tend to be smaller?
The majority of the more successful ones, only in my opinion, are A5. Right. Yeah? Okay. I've tried a couple of A4. I loved my Grand Caliber. Yeah. That was an A4 machine. I broke 6 of them during my time of demoing over 2 years. Okay. Yeah. They're not John-proof. I'm terrible. I treat things atrociously.
Not many things are John-proof.
Very few things. If you go and have a look at my car out in the car park, you'll understand that. If you've not noticed,
is that the one with all the sort of police markings around it?
No, that's the white one with all the dents on everything. The pictures on the back because it's not been washed in 3 years. But basically, with a manual machine over an A4 stretch, the amount of pressure you have to put on your hand to get it over that bump. Have you seen people when it's almost you go over a sleeping policeman going over that bump because you have to provide that pressure. Right. With an electronic one, what's actually happening is all that pressure is created by the motor. So it's even all the way across the machine. And it's even all the way across your plates.
It's not cranky.
The number of times I've done it myself where I've gone round, certainly, and I will show you in a little while a frame. It's one of the worst to try and do in a manual machine. Okay. And what actually happens is you're turning it, sometimes you go faster and then you hit that bump. And you... And you actually find it doesn't cut in certain areas because you've gone too quickly or too slowly. This is all timed.
Perfect.
And you've got in here A4 plates. This is A4 paper. Okay. So, but can you see the plates are actually larger than A4? Right.
So it doesn't go over the edge.
So it won't hang over. So an A4 sheet is almost letter size. But the fab thing I loved about this is the mouth of it is bigger than A4. Right. Because if, like me, I have a tendency to not put things in straight.
Okay. So it evens it up, does it? Yeah.
No, basically...
Oh, it doesn't matter. It can just go in at any angle.
It doesn't matter. It's going in at a weird... I'll try and show you that way. And can you see the angle this is coming out at?
Yeah, it's gone in wonky, but it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter because you've got that extra ½ inch space. Yeah. Also means if you're using things like American letter paper, which is a different size to the UK A4, it's wider, that can hang over without getting damaged at the sides.
That looks really easy to use as well, because what we're looking at, 3 buttons there.
Run,
so on, off.
On, off, same button. Run, which makes it go, and reverse, which makes it reverse.
I can do that.
You can do that.
Literally
and it's
3
literally, if I go there, press, you put that in,
start,
you press
stop,
run.
Forwards, backwards.
Well, we press run.
Run.
Yeah. If I wanted to come back this way, I don't have to stop, pause, anything. I press reverse.
Okay, and it just... Oh, okay,
and it just reverses, so it's so genuinely easy to use. And that's the main thing, and I think a lot of people switch to an A4 machine because they like the bigger dies. I couldn't get... I mean, this is not a massive die, this is one of mine. I couldn't get that through an A5 machine. That would not fit. It is literally too wide.
But it's okay for the small dies as well. It doesn't matter. It's not like
makes
small
difference.
machines are better for small dies. No, it's not like that.
No difference whatsoever. Not when you've got something like this.
Well, you may as well go for a bigger machine because then you've got more scope to do all the dies, haven't you?
You are literally.
Yeah.
The fantastic thing about this is you are not only future-proofing yourself, you're backwards-proofing yourself. Because the main reason I chose this, apart from the pressure, the fact it works, the fact it's all metal, so it's ticked so far all the problems I've had before.
Yep.
It doesn't have a handle, so it's not going to break, which I've done many times before with too much pressure.
It's a bit of over-exuberance
ticking
there.
But this is the only A4 electric machine I've used that takes every single die that has ever been invented.
Right.
From the wooden ones that first came out, all the way through to dies that came out yesterday.
Backwards compatibility then. So it's not going to put all your dies out of date that you've got. You can use everything you've ever collected.
Use everything. I was using, the last time I did this machine on a show, I used a wooden die of Paola's.
Yes.
And that was, I think, 15 or 16 years old. It's one of the original.
That's good.
But dies come in all different widths, and the plate combination means that it will work all the way through.
Yeah.
So the way I've sort of said that, I was going to show you embossing, but what I will do is the biggest question I get asked is about, where are we? Shall we grab a different one? We'll grab a bunny rabbit. These dies.
What are those?
You won't have seen these.
Okay.
These are called Biggs dies. These are by Sizzix.
They're called what?
Biggs. B-I-G-Z.
B-I-G-Z, Biggs.
Biggs dies. And these are effectively dies that have got the die is inside, but the die is sharp.
Right.
And it's held inside foam, and there is a sharp steel blade in there.
Oh, okay.
So this will cut things like... So this is a piece of really thick hessian.
Right.
Or you can get quilting dies that will cut through really thick fabric that are in the Biggs.
Yeah.
And this is one of the things that a lot of us bought a lot of these a few years ago.
Right.
When dies first came out, this is what they look like.
Gosh, I was foolishly thinking this was just all for card only, but you're saying you can put different materials in the machine.
Yeah, you can. So to do that, what you actually need is you need 2 C plates.
Right.
Now,
can you get a spare C plate?
No, not at the moment. And the reason is that Couture Creations, when they invented the machine, didn't order thousands of spare C plates because they knew that after 3 years you still wouldn't be replacing them.
Right, makes sense.
So they weren't looking saying, oh well, you'll need to replace that every 6 months, so we'll make lots of them. That's not the way the company operated. However, we've put on the show either the full set of Kaleido plates or the pair of the 3 mils.
So these Kaleido plates are compatible with the Go Power
because when
Emboss.
we designed our machine, I made sure they were compatible with what I already used. So I can do this and put on the top 3 mil plate, press run, no sensors or anything. Doesn't matter how wide that sandwich is, because that sandwich is not wide enough. The machine will work. I could put through a piece that wide.
Oh, now I can show you the different plates that you can get here. If we have a little look at this, you've got the 3 mil pair here and the 5 mil pair. £4 off here. You're getting a magnetic base with this as well. So why do we need a magnetic base?
Well, that's the standard base on the Kaleido.
Right.
Because this is one of the fab things and the differences in this machine. So just to show you, that's our bunny rabbit cut in our really genuinely, if I give you the rabbit, that's really thick,
isn't it?
burlap. I would actually struggle.
You have to get a really strong, tough pair of scissors to do that,
As I cut that, it's nowhere near as crisp.
No.
The machine has done it because it almost senses the pressure. But the other difference on this machine is what normally happens, electronic machines either have 2 electronic sensors here and here, or they have 2 hook-down little hooks here and here.
Okay.
What you have to do is you have to make sure that those sensors are covered by your plates, or that your plates hit those.
Right.
Not on this one.
Okay.
So if you've got the Kaleido plates, or, and a friend of mine, Brenda, very kindly tested it for me in the break, or you've got a, I've forgotten it. It's a machine that most of us started with, and I've completely lost it. It begins with a C.
C.
And it's the biggest, it's a machine that everybody starts, Cuttlebug.
That's it. Cuttlebug.
Cuttlebug.
Yeah.
Most crafters who've been around a while will know that one.
Could there been people at home screaming that out?
They will be
John!
screaming it. John, come on, you idiot.
Yeah.
But literally, it's the same way. So here, because I've got a magnetic base, that kind of holds in place.
Yeah.
My 5mm, that one. So if you've got those plates, a Cuttlebug or the Kaleido or something, they will work in this machine.
Okay.
But of course, if you were putting in junior plates, and this makes it quicker for you, you would think you'd have to put them that way for the sensors.
Yes.
No, not on this, because it works on the run button.
Oh, it doesn't matter how. Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Put it in at any angle, and you can put,
Doesn't matter at all, works the same. I can reverse it, which I probably haven't gone all the way through the design yet.
60% of the stock is now gone, by the way. 880282. You can't find this anywhere else. We haven't seen it. We've looked very hard. We can't find it anywhere else at the moment. Only here on the craft store. 3 payments of $46.66, and it's a £10 saving on our monthly mega deal to get the Go Power and Emboss die cutting machine, and of course you're getting the 30 dies and the 2 embossing folders as well. We haven't even got into the embossing yet, which we're definitely going to do this
I will get into.
Yeah.
But basically, so there I've cut that piece straight off with the smaller plates. Right. So again, if you like working with smaller plates or you want it through quickly, you know, it's almost 16 seconds to take that one through. It's 8 for that. Yeah. Because it's smaller. If you go that way, it's like 5.
It's hard to see how
this
this would like
any way.
This is going to take a long time to wear down, isn't it? Because the dies are separate. This is pressure. This is a machine running through some blocks. It's going to last you a while, isn't it?
It is going to last you a while. And one of the, I'm glad you said that's something I've not mentioned on the show previously. What happens is, over time, every single die cutting machine, the rollers on it, like on a, I'm losing all my words today.
Like on a mangle?
On a mangle. Thank you, Richard.
That's all right, no worries.
Like on a mangle. Yeah. The pressure over time will release a little bit.
Right.
Yeah. So, and it will happen, and it happens with all of them. Okay. I've tested nearly every machine in the market, and they will all claim.
There's no way to tighten it up,
no? There's no loss in pressure, but as you're going, if you think over years, 3 or 4 years, and when I've used a machine for 3 years, that's like someone at home using it for 20. You know, sometimes they will get a little bit less pressure. They included the metal shim. Okay. So when you start to see, if you've got something that doesn't cut right, or you start to see that it's not quite as tight as it used to be, all you do is add the metal shim into your bundle. So you go base plate, metal shim. Then you'd go base plate, card, die. I'll do a little bit just to show you again. So, so I go base plate, metal shim, C plate, card, die. And what I'll do here is I'll do this bang in the middle. Okay.
Now we're going to put the B plate
on top.
B plate.
Okay.
Oh, this is the metal shin. There's the details. What I knew on the show today, $9.99 if you want the metal shin.
But what that will do is just make that sandwich that little bit tighter.
So you therefore use that from now on. Once you feel like the pressure's gone, you're just going to add the metal
You would use
shim.
it each time. You would say, okay, well this die's really intricate and there's a lot on it. Right. I think I'll use the metal shim with it.
So it's just adding you a little bit more weight and pressure.
The more that's in there, and basically, you can see there that's cut absolutely perfect, bang in the middle. I mean, I wouldn't normally cut a big A4 die like that, but again. So it's cut, it's bang in the middle, it's absolutely perfect. And can you see the impression it's left in the plate? Because I increased.
So once again, to future-proof, it's probably worth putting in the metal shin because you can get it on the flexi. It's $3.33, isn't it?
There's a metal shim included in it with the machine.
Oh, is there? Yeah.
I would always say you need a second one. It's the only thing I buy a spare of. Okay. And the reason is, if I'm cutting fabric with a fabric die, you cut into the metal shim. And what you will do is you will wreck it. That is not good enough. That I would not use now to be a shim for bad dies. So I keep one for cutting multimedia dies, which again I'll show you. Okay. And one I keep for paper. Right. So it's the only thing I'd recommend. I would say you don't need to get yourself an extra B, you don't need to get yourself an extra embossing mat. Right. The only thing extra I would recommend from personal experience is an extra metal shim. So you have got the metal shin here, which is this universal adapter that we've got that comes with the machine as well. I'm just getting my head around these plates because you can actually, if you want to get this as an extra, this is $9.99. So just to recap here, here's your machine. You've got your embossing folders and you've got your die set as well. In terms of plates that you're getting with it that come with the set that you're going to be ordering,
You've got your A plate, there it is, your A plates. You've got your B plate there, which goes on the top. You can get extra ones of the B plate as well, but that is limited stock. There it is, $12.99, 528,905. Then you've got your C plate, that's the one that goes on top of the A plate. If you want extras of that, we've got the Kaleido version, which is on the bottom of your screen right now. It's 3mm plates. You can get a pair of those for $12.49. Here's your metal shim. You are getting one of those with the machine. Again, you can get one of these separate as well. If, as John recommended, you might want to have a spare one. That's $9.99 for your metal shim. Now, have we covered this? This also comes with it as well. What's this here?
Right, so John? This is your embossing mat.
Right. Oh, we're getting on to the embossing now.
Well, it's two different things of embossing.
Okay.
Because when we say embossing, or say embossing to me, I think of embossing folder. But this is designed for when you're embossing a die.
Right.
But this is a very, very thick rubber mat.
Okay.
Now, again, I'm talking from personal experience. I have never embossed a die cut in this machine. What embossing a die does, and go back to this piece we had earlier, you see how the edge is beveled and it looks as if it's curved on this piece? Yeah. So I've got a brilliant shot there coming up from Marcus. Can you see how it's beveled edged?
Very nice.
Yeah. Embossing increases that, or supposedly increases that, and really bevels that edge.
Okay.
But this machine does it so well with just cutting that I have never embossed the dies because I don't see the need.
Right.
So why do a second job when it's not necessary?
Right.
So the only job I use this for is when I'm embossing through a stencil. Now, I did say I would try and do it in this hour.
Okay.
And I've left my stencils in the car.
Oh, John, was this in the car that's falling apart in the car park?
Yeah.
The same one?
Unless Maddie wants to steal my car keys...
Maddie, you know what to
go
do.
into the back and she'll find
she's on it.
one of these boxes. Oh, no. I've got one.
Wait. Oh!
I brought it out.
That's a shame, because I wanted you to report back on how bad his car really looked.
Oh, honestly, it's like a skip. Trust me, there are empty cans of brown fizzy diet liquid.
I've been chucking all my rubbish in what I thought was a skip. Was that your car?
That's my car. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, John.
That is
sorry. That's me.
So my car.
Yeah. 2/3 of the stock is now gone here on our embossing and die cutting machine here, which is fantastic. Well done to you if you popped it into your basket here. 880282 is the item number. 3 payments only of $46.66. That's very, very decent. You're getting the machine, you're getting all the plates. We're going to look at the embossing mat in a second, and you're getting the embossing folders and the dies as well. It really is a good little package, that, and it's only $46.66, that first payment. No interest to pay on that at all. It's just been cut 3 ways, $46.66. In total, you're saving £10 on the standard price, and at the moment, we don't think you can get this anywhere else. And as you can tell, John genuinely loves this machine, because am I right in thinking you've got your company actually produces a machine, but you're actually sitting here going, this is what I use?
We produced the Kaleido, which is the best A5 die cutting machine I've ever used.
Okay.
It does the foiling and everything else. It's a different purpose.
Right.
And it's the best machine to have out on my desk for doing flowers and smaller pieces.
Got you. But here you are talking about another machine.
When it comes to an A4, this is what I use, this is what I bought, this is mine.
Yep.
And I always say that, you know, to me, the ultimate is to have an A4 and an A5.
Right.
You've got different uses. The Kaleido does all of the foiling. And the fact that my Kaleido plates, so at home, if you've ever seen, if anyone's actually watched any of my Craft Cave Live videos that I do, this machine sits here.
Yep.
My Kaleido sits there.
Okay.
And I use a combination of the both because I can't fit that die through on the Kaleido.
Of course, yeah.
But if I'm doing something quickly and I want that flower, I am not going to put that flower on an A4 plate and run it all the way through. I'm going to do it on that.
On a small
I'm very lucky to have that. But what I love is the fact, and it's why we did it in a way, is we made sure that the plates that went through the Kaleido worked in that as well.
Yeah.
So that you can swap and change.
Yeah. That's not to say you can't put those smaller dies through your... If you get to this machine, it's just obviously for you. You know, you're working fast, you want to do things quickly, of course.
Yeah, so what I'm going to do now is... This is the only thing, and I would honestly say I have never embossed a die using this mat, and I wouldn't, to be honest. I find it's very, very thick.
Okay.
But it's great for this technique, and again, this is included. So if you've got any stencils, you've basically got your stencil. Now, I get this wrong every time.
Okay.
So it'll be one of two ways, and we will learn together.
Good.
Done this hundreds of
Good.
times.
Do you want me to bail you out again and like come up with a name or whatever? Yeah. Okay. Fine. Standing by.
And tell everyone at home that I did this on purpose to show them how not to do it if it's wrong.
Yeah.
So I've gone base plate.
Yes.
The thick rubber mat, and if you look at it, it's very thick.
Yeah. It is. So I can.
My stencil.
Yeah.
I'm putting a piece of card on.
Okay.
And then I'm putting my B plate on.
Okay.
My
base
thicker plate.
Okay.
Base plate, rubber mat, stencil, card, B plate.
Got
but
you.
if this is too thick, the machine will reject it.
It won't allow it to. It won't
will
even go
not
in.
allow
It will
me
start
to
to go and
break
it will come back out again.
It will go so far,
right,
and it will go, and those three lights will flash, and it will reverse it out itself.
So quite hard to break the machine, then, isn't it?
I've not managed it yet.
And you've tried.
I have tried.
By gosh, have you tried?
I am well known in this building and in the craft industry for breaking anything possible.
I saw you with a sledgehammer
Dawn's
on it
over
earlier.
there giggling away because she knows how much stuff I have broken.
Yeah, no, I know. You do try to break everything.
I do, but you know, I'm well known for it.
Fair play.
So you see here, wrong way.
Yep.
So.
You're going to try it again.
This is what I love to do with this. So you're going to go down, so it's going to go card, stencil, B plate.
Okay. That's all experiment. Once you've done this at home, you'll know what works and what doesn't.
No, I've done this hundreds of times and I never remember it. Write
do the opposite
it down.
of what John does and you'll
Once
be all
I've
right.
got it right, but again, that's going through, but to me that's going through too easily.
Okay.
But that's why I love this machine, because you've got a metal shim.
So now you can add that in.
So now I can actually make that pressure greater. And I'm not
and you know how easy it's going through just by after a while, just listening out for it. You want it to see it almost not struggling, but it's kind of going through a lot slower than that. Oh, that's,
So now, I've turned, that's the Emboss.
Yeah.
I've turned that stencil into an emboss, and I could go through that with my inks or anything else.
Right, yeah.
And if again I thought I want that a little bit heavier, I'm not happy with it, I need it to be a little bit crisper, that sort of thing. Let's put it down the right way, shall we? Fit it back in.
80% of the Kaleido plates have gone, by the way.
Add
80%.
The metal shim, the B again. And you've got so much flexibility just by having those extra bits. But you see here, look, so it doesn't damage the machine, this rubber mat is coming out like chewing gum, it's extending.
Yes, because the nature of rubber is it can just, it's pliable, isn't it?
So you don't have to worry. You really don't have to worry if that happens.
Yeah.
And then when I take that out, I've got an even deeper, crisper emboss from the stencil.
That's great.
And that's all included. All I've added is a stencil and card.
Cutting
Nothing else is in the box.
embossing on this machine. That is incredible.
Well, that's embossing the stencil, but we've still got the embossing with the folders.
Oh, hang on. Hold that thought.
For that in a minute.
Hold that thought, because I need to tell you that 70% of the stock now has gone. 70% of the stock has now gone on our machine here. What is it? It's our monthly mega deal. It is the GoPower and embossing die cutting machine, and you're getting the machine, as you can see here. It's a lovely looking thing. It's so simple to use. Look, this is Richard proof. Look, 3 buttons, on and off, run, and reverend. No, reverse. It's rev. So you press that and a reverend arrives. No, you press that and it comes back out again. So you've got run, you've got reverse, and you've got on and off. It could not be easy. You don't need instructions with this, do you?
No.
It is what it is. It says what it does. Then you're getting all the plate to it as well. So we've just seen the embossing mat here, which is nice and thick. Now, if you want an extra embossing mat, we have those available as well. Look at that along the bottom of your screen, 273-159, 12.99 for that. Then you're getting a metal shim with, this is all part of the bundle, by the way, and this is an extra. You can get one of these extra if you'd like, though. This is available at $9.99.
Can I just show you something on the metal shim?
Yes, please.
Okay. Now, this is, I think, very important. Please don't do this at home.
Yes.
This is very important for people who've had metal shims or machines before.
Okay.
Watch my hand, watch the shim.
Yep. This is a magic trick.
Yeah, it looks like that, doesn't it?
Oh, no.
Nothing.
I'll tell you what.
If, as our producer has just said in our ear, she would be bleeding if she was using the metal shim that she had at home, because we can't say that brand.
Yes.
But these have all, the spare ones,
edges, isn't
the ones you get in have been chamfered edges even on the points, I've cut my finger.
Yep.
I know Lottie's cut her finger on metal shims before. You know, I couldn't recommend it if it did that. Please don't do this.
Don't try this with all of your metal shims, just in case it's not like this.
Please don't try it with any of the ones at home. But
and don't rub your dyes on your face as John did earlier.
No, don't do it.
Unless you know.
Do as I say, never do as I do.
And don't keep your car in the same condition that John does.
No.
Other than that, do everything John does.
Yeah. When it comes to crafting and doing things,
yes.
All the other bits, don't take any notice of me at all.
Not.
Don't take a blind bit of notice of me.
So that's really good. So that's not sharp. That's usable. So you've got the metal shim in there, and you can get the extra one at the bottom of your screen there as well, $9.99. You can add it into your flexi basket and split the cost of that 3 ways as well. So that's $3.33, isn't it? Then we've got your B plate. There's your B plate. And that's along the bottom of your screen as well if you want an extra one of those. No, that's not, is it? Yes, it is coming now. This is all part of the machine bundle though. There's your B plate, A4 size. You can get that for $12.99. Again, we can add all of these into your flexi basket and get to split that 3 ways. Here's your C plate. Can you get this separately?
No.
No. You can get the Kaleido version, which is going to help you out instead. There you go, along the bottom of the screen, 3mm plates. A pair of those are $12.49. And this is your A plate, or as you call it, the base plate.
This is your base plate. They call it an A plate. To me, it'll always be a base plate.
Right, okay.
Because no matter what you're doing, this is always on the bottom. This is always on the base.
Absolutely have to have one of these. And that's, I tell you what, that's just like, you're not going to need a spare one of these, are you? I can't see this ever wearing out.
No. I mean, to be honest, I am on my first set of plates with every machine I've got. I've not bought spare plates or replaced any. I was very lucky to be able to buy an extra C plate for doing the big dies and the wider dies, but I've now discovered that we don't need to because I can get, to be honest, to me, and you know, I probably get shot by Couture Creations, sorry Andrew, but it's better value to me to buy for the same price a pair of the Kaleido ones because I can put, you need 2 of them to do your big dies. So basically you have one on the bottom, one on the top. You have your piece of, I'm using mount board, or this is actually dolly board, so this will be on the website. But that is a lot easier than trying to put my C plate from my machine and then the smaller plate on. And I would say people at home, if you're like me, 90% of the big dies I've got are this size. Yes, they come larger. I have a larger one here. If I can get it out, but that is rare.
Ooh, that is a big one, isn't it?
That's actually a fabric die to cut to quilting pieces.
Interesting.
But again, that's rare to have that. But just like that, I've cut those. So to me,
look at that. No
so
nicks.
much easier.
Perfect.
And that is the most perfect stencil.
It really is, isn't it? Look, you use that both ways, can't you? 3/4 of the stock is now gone. And I should also point out, because we're showing the machine and the plates if you're just joining us, it's not just this, it's a set, if you like. It's a bundle. You've also got all of these dies here, which has got to be worth a little bit on its own, isn't it? 30 dies, you've got numbers in there, you've got all sorts of, you've got a nice bicycle in there as well, you've got flowers, happy birthday, you've got border designs there as well. 30 dies in total, just to get you going, just to give you a little something to use on your machine. And you've got 2 embossing folders, and I think it's high time you told me, John, what those do.
Right, so an embossing folder is literally, the words are what it does. It's a folder that embosses.
Wow,
so
okay.
2 sides.
That's it. Thanks for watching, goodbye.
Thanks, have a great night.
This is why we give you the big bucks, John, to come in and explain everything to us.
It's a folder, it embosses. Yay! No, it's brilliant. So effectively, there are so many different embossing folders. It's another reason why. And it sounds like I'm sort of singing the virtues, but I'm singing, it's like converted to the choir. I'm trying to explain
you're allowed
why.
to sing the virtues of this. If this is genuinely your machine, I mean, you've been using it, you know,
I'm justifying.
Yes.
I suppose actually I'm justifying why I bought so many of them and why I paid for them, because a lot of people think in the craft industry, oh, you get given everything. I spend so much every month. And I still feel like everybody else at home I have to justify it. But embossing folders, every company, every design is different. And that's why the flexibility. So these are a standard embossing folder. And recently we've got very, very used to 3D embossing folders. So I think the instructions say for the standard embossing folders, you go embossing folder, embossing mat, and you go C-plate.
Right. Yeah. And don't forget your base plate. You didn't mention
base,
that. I'll mention that.
It's just your automatic. Thank you.
Yeah, it's all right.
But this is good. You see, I can see you going home with one of these.
Yeah, no, I'm picking it up now.
A couple of bits of colour of card, and you can, because you've got everything in the box you need to make a card.
Yeah.
Because everything you need apart from card and glue is what you need in the box. If you had to make a birthday card for the missus tomorrow, you could, with some coloured card and some glue, you could do that with this machine. Everything included in the pack will do it. Happy birthday. Got some little flowers.
Design.
You've got an embossing folder for the back.
Got the borders.
But you see there.
All right. Okay. Right, I'll nick yours then. Is that all right?
Yeah.
I'll take yours. And your car.
Yeah.
No, you're right, actually.
I'll swap.
You keep your car.
I'll swap. I'll happily swap.
Anita's
you see there,
been in
I've
touch.
got that embossed.
Oh, yeah, look at that. Anita's been in touch. Hello, Anita. She says, thanks, Richard, for asking basic questions. No problem, Anita. That's what I do. Because Anita needs all the help she can get, apparently. And thanks to you, John, for explaining it so well. So I think between the two of us, I think we're going back to basics here, and we're doing a service for a lot of people out there. Because it is a bit like this with crafting. I can tell you, because I'm new to it all, it's one of those cases where everyone else seems to know a lot about it, and you're a bit afraid to ask the simple question of like, well, what's a die do then? Because you don't want to look foolish.
No, you don't. When I got into crafting, I went to art college, did all the things, and then, you know, my mum said, right, you've got 2 weeks, get a proper job or get out. Cruel to be kind. Yeah. She was right. So I didn't do anything in it, but I made bits and bobs. And then I came home one night, watched Create and Craft, because we're all one big thing now. So
so you're allowed to say that now.
Ordered a kit from Michelle Marsden. Red Hot Bed was the brand. And started making cards.
That's brilliant, by the way, to know that you started out by, as many people watching at home now, watching a show just like this and went, I'm doing that, and then here you are now.
If you ask a lot of crafters, they'll be able to tell you who they were watching first and what they bought.
Right.
Because, you know, and
see, Anita in a few years' time is going to be like the head of some huge crafting company. She's going to go, I was watching John and Richard talking about this embossing machine, and, you know, the rest is history.
It is how it works. And I watched it, and I used to sit at home, and I would watch, and I would go, and a lot of the demonstrators would go, well, what you do is you take this, and you glue this, and you put this down, look, there, it's pretty. And you stand with that bravado, as we've all done at home, and gone, do you know, if I did that job, I'd explain it better. And we fast forward sort of 4 or 5 years, and I got very, very lucky to get the chance to do it. And said to myself, just remember when you were sat watching at first without a clue. So sometimes I really apologise, because it may seem like I'm teaching people to suck eggs.
No, absolutely not, John. It's certainly helpful for me.
But you need to know. I want to know why.
You can get sort of caught down in the reeds sometimes, and you get so involved in the area of expertise that you assume that everyone knows everything, and people don't.
We don't.
They don't do it for a living.
We forget. I got how to emboss a stencil wrong again, first time. I've done that hundreds of times.
I've literally seen you get the plates all the wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
Just today.
We all do it, so we need a reminder. But this is what I do. So we got that embossed, but it wasn't really that crisp.
Yes.
So what I could do is I could add in the metal shim.
Okay, and that's going to
give me a little bit more pressure. What I tend to do with a folder like this, I tend to use, this is available on the show, but this is the Crafts 2 like glue mat. It's a thinner version of that, but it allows me to use the B plate, which is the thicker plate. And I have a preference for not putting my C plate through my machine on the top. Because I think when you've got a large surface area,
is it?
It is. When you've got a large, thinner surface area, the chances are hitting those metal rollers, because they're metal inside, it will start to bend it or banana. We don't want that. So I tend to go for that.
By the way, the details, as you can see, are up on the screen right now for the craft mats there and the shim. Getting both of those there, A5 size, 234373 if you'd like an additional shim, metal shim, and a non-stick craft mat to go with it. $12.98. You can whack that in as well onto your flexi basket and pay that in 3 payments. So that's your 2 difference.
That's the one I've just done. That's the first one I did.
Oh yeah, big difference.
See the difference? But
this
is
it on both sides, John? Is that the whole thing of the 3D embossing? Is that the difference between... OK, go on.
This is a 2D embossing folder. It just raises it 1 level. That's what you're going to get.
But it is on both sides, so you can turn it over.
It's on both sides. You get, that's your emboss.
Yes.
And you've heard people talk about deboss.
Deboss, is it going in? Is it like concave and convex?
Concave and convex.
So deboss is going in, and the emboss is
Emboss is coming out.
Got you.
Yeah, but we do a lot of, we have, and a lot of people now are having 3D embossing folders.
Right.
And again, when this machine was
developed... Do we need
developed,
to wear 3D glasses for
no.
this?
I like that one.
I'm here for all the stupid questions. I'm here all day. I'm here all day.
He's here all week.
3D embossing, I don't know.
But no, it's worth asking.
Yeah.
A 3D embossing folder basically is, instead of it just giving you one flat raised,
yeah,
it's almost like being carved.
Right.
So it's giving you, when I open the folder, you can feel there's a difference in height. It's been carved in rather than just being one flat level.
Right, okay, run that by me again. So instead of it being...
if I take out a normal... See, I put things down. Oh, this is the one I just embossed. Basically, the depth there is identical on the entire design, all the way across.
Okay, with you.
Yeah, all the same height.
With you so far.
On here, these have actually been carved.
Oh, it's like it undulates. It's like some of it's a bit lower and higher.
So you can feel that flower coming out. You can feel that leaf getting deeper in the middle.
Some parts of it are more raised than others. Yeah. When you see the final design, it's kind of more of a 3D effect. So, yeah.
Yeah, and one of the things I will say on this great tip, I've seen loads of people saying, you know, what to do if it doesn't emboss crisply, or how to work, and trying different things. The amount of pressure is what will alter how deep your embossing is.
Right.
If your card cracks or doesn't emboss well, or you're worried, all you do is spray it with water.
Right.
You don't need anything else. You don't need any mixes of glycerin or sugar or anything else.
Okay.
If you give that a light spritz with water, you will make the fibres in the paper swell slightly, and it'll emboss more crisp.
Oh, okay. That's
you don't need anything else than literally nip yourself down to, can't say Wilko, so you know, somewhere like that.
Yeah.
Get one of those cheap 50p little spray bottles, fill it with water,
normal water,
give it a spritz.
Yeah.
And that can even help sometimes with your die cutting as well, because it just helps the fibres separate.
How
if
much,
it's a little bit damp.
How much water?
Just dampen it a little bit, like you would sort of just spritz in your face a little bit. Nothing major.
Yeah.
Don't, you know, don't buy anything. You don't need to get anything proprietary. That will do it. But this is a 3D folder, and these were obviously invented after this machine. So this is, we said about it being future-proof.
And the machine still can use them?
The machine will still use them, and every single one of them, again, will be different. But what I do this time is...
Do you think it might be able to use 4D when that comes along?
I think it might when it comes along.
Because that's the time machine. That's time as well, 4D.
Of course, in 4 dimensions
in space. 4 dimensions, yeah.
Yeah, let's not get us on... Don't get me on to the TARDIS
and
things like that.
I don't know. Who knows? It's future-proof.
Unfortunately, I can give you every boring fact about that going.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
are you a Doctor Who nerd?
I am a Doctor Who and science fiction nerd.
You may have just met your... met the right guy
anything
to
up
speak
to the latest series, as I'm holding that off.
Yes. But of course, we all know what TARDIS stands for, don't we?
We do, time and relative dimensions in space.
Yeah, thank you.
We could keep this on probably for hours by looks things. But you see, all I did this time was use the A plate and the B plate. Yeah. So I took out the mats. I didn't go with the C plate.
Yeah.
And if I didn't find this was crisp enough, I could then add in that plate. If I found it didn't go through, I wouldn't use the B plate, I'd use the C plate. If that wasn't crisp enough, I'd use the shim and the C plate.
Right.
So at the moment, what I've done is I've embossed this one. I'll show you how it's come out. Look, that's the 3D embossing folder.
Right.
Hoping
I can see now what you're talking about. Like it's
that's the difference. Can you see the petals?
Yeah.
This is a Nellie Snellen.
Yeah, some elements are more raised than others, some that are receding to the background. It's, yeah,
you're getting so much more.
It's almost like it's been sculpted, isn't it?
It has. But the thing is, if this wasn't right, and this is the brilliant combination with this, so I've used here base, embossing and 5mm.
Right.
If that's not enough, I can go base, embossing and 6mm.
Right.
Yeah. If that was too much, I can go base, embossing, and 3mm.
Base. How low can you go?
Yeah.
There you go.
If that's not enough, I can go base. Or A plate. Embossing folder.
Right.
1mm, 3mm, making that 4mm.
Right.
So I can make that sandwich on top. 3mm. 4mm, 5mm, 6mm.
Doesn't matter.
And all of those are included in the package.
That's brilliant.
So that's why I say about it being future-proof. So the same machine will cut that, will emboss that stencil, but it will emboss that folder that comes with it, which is actually called Tied Together. if anyone wants to know the name.
It's called what?
This is called Tied Together.
Tied Together.
Couture Creations about 6-7 years ago did an A4 folder like this in this design. It was called Tied Together. It was a limited run. Right. And anyone who remembers in the craft industry that much, people were paying £50 and £60 for it on eBay.
Really? And it's part of this?
Yeah, and now they've done it as a... Eventually they reissued it because everyone demanded, but now they've done it as a small one, which is why I know the name, because it was just, when I joined the industry, I was like,
that's incredible. I mean, now, for
seriously?
46, 66, your first payment, you're getting everything here.
Where can I get Tied Together from? That, now, is your 3D folder. So that's all done in exactly the same one, just by altering that plate sandwich.
That's brilliant. Nearly 80% of the stock has gone now, John. There it is, 880-282 is your item number. Your monthly mega deal, £10 saving there, 3 payments of £46.66. You're getting the machine, all of these various plates that we've been talking about. The dies, we haven't even got to the dies yet, really, have we? I guess we've been using 1 or 2 of them, but the embossing folders is what we've just been talking about over the last 5-10 minutes, and you're getting both of these embossing folders added in there. Once upon a time, 50-60 quid. John was saying, to get the original version of this. You can't find this machine anywhere else on the market at the moment, and if you can, let us know, because we couldn't find it anywhere. But you can get it here. It's 80% of the stock now gone. And it's not just you, John, who loves it, because we've had an email in from Rachel. Hello, Rachel. Rachel Harris. Hi. Thanks, Rachel. She says, hello, everyone. I bought my Go Power when it was a special last time, and I have to admit, I was sceptical. But to anyone who is hesitating, I can tell you it's absolutely brilliant. I do a lot of die cutting, and I wouldn't be without it. That is a happy...
That's brilliant. Thank you, Rachel. That's really nice to hear. The thing is, it's something I always say about our Press to Impress, the stamping platform by Crafts 2. We don't give them away.
Right.
We don't give them away free. If you see a demonstrator using it, they've bought it.
Right.
They bought it and paid for it, and they've made the choice and spent their money. And that's always given me reassurance in a product. And the fact that I can stand here and say, I bought this and I love this so much, this is my money. You know, this isn't a free one I've been given to do the show, this is mine. Yeah. And I've had them for 3 years, and I decided when it was on offer last time, just like you, Rachel, I bought a new one, which I've saved for today. So, but I will get tomorrow I will take my 3-year one out and we will compare the two. Okay. So that's what I'm planning to do tomorrow, to show you the difference. But to hear that Rachel said exactly the same, it's not just me, I'm not spouting it because I'm paid to. No. It's somebody independent who's also saying...
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this just happens to be, it's quite a happy coincidence, isn't it? It's like, this is exactly your machine, so you can talk about it from experience and your actual love of it. So your 3-year-old one, is it a different model, or is it exactly the same?
Exactly.
So when you're going to compare them, it's just going to be how one's lasted for 3 years. Yeah,
how one's mucky and one's not. Yeah. But I'm now using this is my 3-year-old plate. Right. And I'm going to do, these are delicate dies. I think we've got these on the show. These are my corners. Okay. But this is something that I love to do. These are very delicate, very intricate dies. Okay, so these are I'm using the mandala corners. Okay, and I'm just going to take
we've got these on the show here. This is a pair, actually. Come here. Got them here. This is John's very own dies here. John next door. You can add this into your flexi basket if you like, along with the machine. It would be 3 payments of $7.33 to get the mandalas here. Both of these die sets, so you've got mandalas and corners, 12 dies in total. So you're going to use, are you using both of them?
So what I've done is I've used one of the centre dies from the mandala, and I've used the 4 corners. Got you. So should be more even, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to put it to one side, and I'm just going to at first, so I've got A plate. Yep. C plate. Okay. So what plate am I going on top, Richard?
That'll be the B plate.
It will be. Yay!
And if you're not happy with the pressure, you're adding the metal shim.
Well, that's what I'm going to do next, because I'm asking this to do a lot. Yeah. And when I got my first ever A4 die cutting machine, it's now, I mean, it's a Grand Caliber. I think it's off the market now. It's a brilliant machine at the time, but a manual. First thing I did was I put a die everywhere on a piece of A4 card. I filled it, and I ran it through. And I took the board off and I looked at it and I thought only about 4 of them had cut. Oh. And I threw them in a cut and I sulked. Yeah. Because I didn't understand that it doesn't matter how good these are if you ask too much. If you put your entire load of washing through a mangle at once, it's not going to be dry. Okay. You put it through piece by piece. Right. So it doesn't matter again what anybody says to you about how amazing it is. And you can fill the cup, the whole plate with different...
better, so less is
No,
more?
it won't.
So just run it through sort of three or four
run it
passes,
through
yeah?
once, check it, and you can see here, here I've asked a lot, it's not quite cut through there.
Okay.
Okay. It's cut through here, but it's not quite got some of that detail, because on those lines, I've asked 40 points to cut at once.
Right.
In less than a second.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, what I've done is, it pulls down this bit, so this is where the machine is so fab, because all I do is go, right, okay, I've asked a lot of this, so understand it. I'd rather you get it home and instead of going, oh, that didn't cut, there's something wrong with the machine, go, have I asked too much? Yeah, because we never ask that. I mean, it's like,
get your metal shim in.
My mum washes and irons all these shirts for me, for my TV shirts, and I never think, so have I asked too much, Mum?
No, because you want to give it to you for free, yeah.
Yeah, and she does, bless her.
Never ask, just accept it.
But it's, you know, but we sometimes have to ask that question. We have to ask the question, have I asked too much? And it's no hardship to do that and run it through with a metal shim.
Yeah, second time round.
It's not necessary because they've all cut.
Yeah.
But I want to show you, if you really, you know, if you really are struggling, what you do is, or you think you've got one of those dies, and I've been presented with one once to show that I, for love nor money, could I get it to cut. But I know more now. So what I've done this time is, this has cut, but I just want to show you the thing. I've put the metal shim underneath the C plate.
Okay.
I'm going to take the A5 metal shim, the Crafts 2-1, that comes with that mat, with the embossing mat.
Get that separately, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm going to run that through, and what that will do is increase that pressure even more. And if the machine doesn't like it,
it will reject it. Okay. So you can't go wrong, can you?
No, you can't. You really have to hammer something through.
It doesn't do any harm to send it through twice anyway, does it? I guess it's not going to.
Or press reverse.
It's not going to ruin it or anything. No. So
we always do it on a manual machine. We always go forward and back.
So don't overload it. Don't put too many dies in at once, because you know it's only a bit of electricity. You can just take your time, do it 2 or 3 times, a few dies through at a time, and you can do it more than once with the metal shim if necessary.
Yeah,
for the
as
extra
many
pressure.
times as you want. So of course we know that's going to cut because that's the most, you know, simplest shape ever. But these corners, and I've put 4 of them on together. I'm just going to pop one out, but it's one of those, trust me.
Oh, I'll tell you what, we've only got a few seconds left, John. So
I'm just going to try.
Yeah.
But can you see how detailed this is?
Yeah.
So we
super
cut
fine,
4 of
intricate.
these in a row because I'm a sod with my dies.
Yeah.
Probably shouldn't say that.
Too late.
Yeah,
Look
too
at
late.
that.
I was due, but. How detailed is that? And
Brilliant.
I put 4 of those in one go.
John, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Brilliant explanation. Everyone loving it at home. Nice and simple. We've gone back to basics. Almost limited stock, so please do check out your baskets on this fabulous machine. It's been really, really fun. Thank you so much, John, and I will see you very soon.